Hi everyone, my name is Peter and thanks for joining me at Our Worship Sound. I want to give you 4 tips on how you can take your playing from choppy to smooth. So from something that sounds choppy like this, something from choppy to smooth, because when it's choppy it's hard to listen to and it just kind of sets people on edge, and we want to help people just kind of settle into what we're playing. So the first thing is to simply use your sustain pedal, and this is something that I kind of take for granted because I started off with more traditional piano lessons, and in that style of music it tells you exactly when to push down on the pedal and when to lift up. In this style it's not spelled out like that, so what you need to do is you need to hold the pedal down while you're playing something on one chord, and then when you switch to the new chord, you play the new chord, and at the same time you lift up on the pedal, and then you put it right back down. And then you hold it until you play the next chord, lift up on the pedal, and then right back down, and then like that. So the timing might take a little bit to get used to, but just up, down, up, down, up. So that just enables you to play and release the keys, and the sound still keeps going, and it makes it sound so much smoother. Almost every keyboard is going to have a place to plug in a sustain pedal. So you can get an inexpensive sustain pedal, plug it into the back of your keyboard where there either says hold or sustain, and that's going to be a really easy thing that's going to make your playing a lot smoother. The second thing we want to do to make our playing smoother is to relax our rhythms. And there are a couple things I mean by that. Sometimes when we get a little bit nervous, we feel like we need to do more, and so we start to play rhythms that get too busy. And so when I was doing something like, there's just a lot going on there. And so sometimes that nervous energy kind of translates to other people in the way that we play. So what we want to do is just kind of learn to relax the rhythms that we choose to play, and then just let the piano kind of take it from there. So simplifying your rhythms will really smooth out your playing. The other thing that I mean by relaxing your rhythms is by just kind of laying it back into the tempo. Sometimes we get anxious and we start to play a little bit ahead of the beat and we start to rush. So if we can lay that back, actually even if we play a lot of notes, it'll make it sound a lot smoother. So I actually like to play something called ostinato, which is going to repeat a lot of notes. I'm going to play something where I'm playing on almost every 16th note, so 1 E and a 2 E and a, but it's not going to sound rushed and it's still going to sound smooth. There is a way to play pretty much the same thing in a way that doesn't sound smooth, just by kind of getting out, playing it a little bit louder, something like this. And that's just kind of too out front. You just kind of lay it back, relax your rhythms, and that's going to help make your playing a lot smoother. The third thing is be thoughtful about your inversions. And what inversions mean is the order in which you play the notes of a chord. So this chord progression is in the key of G. So if I take the G chord, I can play that G chord 3 different ways. I can play it with the root on the bottom, I can play it with the root on top, or I can play it with the root in the middle. So that's what we call inversions. So what I try to do if I'm really trying to play a chord progression smoothly is I'll try to choose one note to kind of base my inversions around and put my pinky on that note. So since this is in the key of G, G is a pretty good note to base my chords around. So the first chord in this progression is G, so I can put the G in my pinky. The second chord is A minor 7, which has a G in it, so again I'm just gonna keep it right there. The next chord is E minor, so if I move the B down here, that puts the G on top of that one as well, and then it finishes with a C. So actually all of the chords in this progression have G in it, so I don't even have to move around at all. I can just park my pinky right there and just base all of my inversions around it like that. So if I'm really trying to make a chord progression sound smooth, that's how you do it. You just base your chord inversions around a single note and go from there. It makes it a lot smoother than trying to do much easier to just base your inversions around one note. And then finally, add a pad sound. Okay, and so I add a pad sound on just about every song. So a pad sound is just that sound that kind of fades in, kind of fades out, and it just kind of sits there in the background, kind of like a glue. And so I always add that to my patches in the sounds that I'm using, and it just causes everything to sound a lot smoother. It also creates some nice texture so that I don't feel like I have to fill out all the space. That pad sound will kind of fill the other space and still be interesting. So I add the pad as a layer, okay? And there are different ways that you can do that. Your keyboard might have that functionality in itself to do that. And so get out your user manual or look up your keyboard model's user manual online and search to see if it has a layer function to it, and you can add a pad sound on that second layer. I use software to do it, so the sounds that you're hearing are from my computer. I have a piano sound on one layer, and that's down here, and then the next layer is a pad sound. Again, just to isolate that pad is right there. So it's playing all the same notes that I'm playing with my piano patch. It's just creating another layer to it. There are different ways to do it. Like I say, you can hook up your phone. You can actually send the MIDI from your keyboard or your computer somehow via Bluetooth to your phone. And if you can hook your phone into your sound system or your keyboard amp, you can use that. There are a lot of different ways to do it. But anyway, if you can add a pad sound, that's going to add a lot of smoothness to your playing. So I hope that was helpful. Four tips that I think are pretty manageable, and you can check that out. I have lots of other videos on this channel, so I'm just gonna put something here that's gonna allow YouTube to recommend some of those videos to you. The other thing you can do is you can check out ourworshipsound.com/keyboard, and if you fill out the form there and sign up for the email list, I'm gonna send you a free PDF called The Complete Keyboardist. There are other free gifts behind that, including, I think, a pad sound from Mainstage. So anyway, you can check that out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.